Hi YouTube! I'm getting ready to cook my pork loins so that I can can them. I'm going to cook them in the crock pot overnight because I want them cooked. I don't want to can them raw. And I just put a little bit of seasoning on them, and they're going to cook on low all night long. It is 7 o'clock. I actually put them in about 6. I actually do have 2 crock pots full. And I had to borrow one so that I'd have enough. But tomorrow morning I'll take them out and slice them up, and then I'm going to can them. So we'll bring you back when we're ready for that. Okay, YouTube, we're back. We cooked these overnight, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think you want to cook them in the crock pot overnight. I think you want to bake them in the oven. And I only say that because a lot of it just fell apart. Duh. Crock pot all night. Didn't even think about it. But I did manage to cut my chunks that I wanted. I cut one up already. And all I did was just take it out of the crock pot. I left the juices in the crock pot, both of them, this one and the other one, because I'm going to make a broth out of that so that I can pour it over the meat since it's been cooked. Smells really good. And basically I just see, like, this is wanting to come off like that, so I just let it. I kind of just did it in a chunk. And then just sliced it and tried to keep it as whole as I could. Yeah, see, this one's not going to cooperate as well. One end does really good. Yeah, it looks like my grain is not going to cooperate. But mostly I wanted it in chunks, kind of more like little roasts. So like this will stay together nice. Well, this one's a lot hotter than the other one. The other one wasn't near as hot. I took all the little stuff and just kind of threw it in the corner because I figure I can can that up. Either pack it in with the roast. I'm not sure yet. I think until I get my jar out here and see what I want. I didn't super season this. I did the outside. You can take that fat off if you want. But yeah, mostly that's what I want to put. I'm using wide mouth jars, and I want big chunks of meat to put down in there. And you can always make them smaller if they're too big. But you can't make them any bigger once you see, like this one is not going to cooperate that way. So it's going to have to be kind of cut a little different. Might have to get me another pan too. So I'm going to finish. I have one more to cut. Put that over there. I've got one more to cut up, and got my jars already over there heating, because since this is warm, and then my broth's going to be warm, I'm going to finish this up, and sorry about that. I'm going to finish this up. We're going to get this put in the canner. I'll bring you back when I'm ready to fill the jars, and we'll see kind of how that's going to go. I'm not sure. I've never canned pork loin before. I've done pork butt roast, pork loin roast, or not, it's shoulder loin roast, I believe. It's not the same. Pork ribs, I did those, the country style ribs. I took the bone out, done sausage, that kind of stuff. And I am going to do another video on making sausage. We canned it the last time with the liquid in it, and we're not so happy with the liquid. So I'm going to show you canning it without liquid and doing it dry, but that'll be another video. We'll do that later on, but I'll bring you back when I'm ready to fill these jars up. Okay, folks, I have everything ready. Wanted to show you my broth that I made. This is just the drippings down in the bottom of the crock pots, and then I actually added about 5 cups of water to it. It's pretty dark and rich, so that's how I made the pork broth to go over my pork loin. I've already got my jars already in the canner warming up. Like I said, this is just the drippings. It's not pork stock because it doesn't have all the vegetables and stuff in it. It's just the pork broth, and no salt added to it. Nothing. It's just, but I wanted the liquid instead of using beef. I wanted the pork. So we're going to get started on doing the jars for this. I did pack one already because I kind of wanted to see how it was going to go. It's interesting, but it is what it is. You just make do however you can. I am using wide mouth jars so that I can get the meat down in there, and you do see how it falls apart pretty easily. And I just packed it in. Yeah, see, the best that I could. Try to fill. I don't know how well it's going to come out of the jars when it's done, but you can take this out, drain the liquid off, make barbecued pork sandwiches. You can also just add some gravy and serve it, you know, with the gravy and potatoes, kind of like you would just a regular roast. I do have all this stuff that's not real together, so I just kind of use it as filler and put it in there. I may end up with a bunch at the end, but I did have to break these apart. They were too big and they would not, that one's probably way too big, they would not go in there. So, and you want to leave 1 inch of head space on here. And we are adding the broth, and that is because this meat is cooked. If it wasn't cooked, then, you know, you wouldn't have to add the broth. But we like to try it different ways, with the broth, without the broth. See which ones we like. We recently opened up a jar of the country style pork ribs, and they were really, really good. You could even taste the smoke flavor and the grilling, just like we had went out and grilled it ourselves. It was really, really good. So we'll fill this up. Like I said, 1 inch head space on meat. It's going to process in our canner for 90 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure. Always check your canning book that came with your pressure canner. Some do have different instructions. Now, if you can see, I've got a big gaping hole down there, but kind of late for that. We're going to debubble, and that does break off some of your meat, and it does lower your liquid, so we'll have to fill it back up. I don't know, though. That's pretty good, actually. I think we're going to leave it alone. Then we're going to take, I'm using a napkin with vinegar on it because of the meat greasiness, and we're going to wipe the tops of the jars really good. I did not add any salt or anything to this. I figure we can do that when we take it out. I don't like this piece of meat sticking up here. Alright, I've washed my lids in hot soapy water. So we're going to go ahead and, whoops, I don't have a lot of space here, so there we go. And we're going to set that, I'm sorry, here we go. I'm going to set that in the canner. It looks pretty good, and I think that broth will be really good when you take it out. So basically, I'm going to finish filling up the jars. Whatever pork broth I have left over, I'll probably go ahead and can it up if I have space. I did strain it, though, out of the crock pot, just so it didn't have all the little chunks of meat and fat and stuff. I did take that out. I do have this liquid heated so that it's warm to go. Yeah, that was hot. So it's warm when it goes in the jar. But we're going to finish this up, and we'll come back when I'm all done and have this. We'll see how many jars we get out of 2. This was 2 8 or 9 pound pork loin. Yeah, I think 8 or 9 pounds is what they was, and they cooked overnight. Of course, it's a lot. You get a lot more meat in your jar when it's cooked, so it won't shrink as much. But we'll come back when I'm done. We'll check it out. All right, I got them all packed up. Got them in the canner. I got 7 quart jars. This is how much I have left over. There is enough for 1 more quart jar in here, so 8 quart jars for 18 pounds of pork loin. We are going to bring this, put the lid on. I already put the vinegar in. We're going to bring it up to temperature, let it vent for 10 minutes, put our petcock on the top, and we will time this for 90 minutes because it is quarts and meat. So 90 minutes, 10 pounds of pressure for our altitude. Always make sure you check and see what altitude you are. Most canning books have it in there. You can find it anywhere online. Even the book that comes with your canner normally will tell you what pounds of pressure to use with what altitude. So it's an easy thing to find. Make sure you know what it is. So we're going to get this going, and we're going to come back when it's all done. I hope it turns out as good as it tastes beforehand, because we did have to try a few little bites. So we'll come back after a bit. Okay guys, I just pulled them out of the canner. If you can see them, the bubbles are going to town. I've already had 3 seal, I think. So, good job. They turned out great. That's that beautiful pork broth turned out awesome in there. But yeah, they are boiling. But there they are. I have one that's a little iffy over here. He's not boiling near as fast, but looking pretty good. So that is pork loin, and I believe, boy, look at the steam coming off of that one. I actually don't believe I've ever, it must be the water. It's the water on the top of the jar steaming off. Never thought of that. But yeah, there it is. They are done. So we'll talk at you later. Thanks.